Hi everyone, welcome to Earthbound Health. Please subscribe to the channel and come back often to get valuable health information. Just a reminder that the information in this video is for informational purposes only and not as medical advice. Here at Earthbound Health, our motto is Health is our greatest wealth. Our mission is to share information that will help you create a life of health, joy, and well being. We all know how important the sun is. If it were not for the sun, human life could not exist on earth. The ancients honored the sun and created sun worshiping rituals to express their appreciation for the sun's healing powers. Today, we often hear problems related to people getting sunburn or spending too much time in the sun. But did you know that millions of people are suffering from health issues because they don't get enough sun? Here are some diseases and health issues people who don't get enough exposure to the sun can develop. Sun deficiency can cause a weakened immune system. The sun helps our bodies produce vitamin D, which plays an important role in keeping our immune system strong. This vitamin D signals the immune cells to produce more pathogen and disease fighting proteins. When you don't absorb enough sunlight, you may experience a weakened immune system and become more open to getting issues like the flu, colds, and serious infections. Also, your energy level will be lower. Depression is another cause of sun deficiency. Sunlight can increase serotonin production in the brain, which can boost your mood and make you feel calm. Without enough sunlight, serotonin levels may drop, which can cause feelings of sadness and hopelessness. Serotonin is called the happy hormone, and when our levels are low, we can feel irritable. So, a 5-minute sun bath can lift your spirits and make your day. Sun deficiency can cause arthritis in adults. When the body doesn't have enough vitamin D because of lack of sun, it can't produce enough calcium. So, in trying to balance calcium levels in the blood, it can pull calcium from the bones, which can lead to accelerated bone demineralization. This can cause joint and bone disease in adults, which results in soft bones and an increased risk of fractures. Sun deficiency can increase the risk of heart disease. Sunlight exposure affects vitamin D levels, and low vitamin D can cause inflammation, which may contribute to cardiovascular disease. Vitamin D also helps keep blood vessel linings healthy and flexible. So, low levels can make arteries stiff and make it harder for blood to flow. A Japanese study found an increase in heart attacks and strokes during the winter months, which may be due to a combination of low UV exposure and cold temperatures. This suggests that there is a relation between sunlight and health. A lack of sunlight can increase the formation of blood cholesterol levels, which interfere with the increase in vitamin D levels. When there is less sunlight exposure, the body may not be able to produce as much vitamin D, which can lead to an increase in cholesterol. One study found that blood cholesterol concentrations increase as people move farther away from the equator and receive less sunlight. Another study found that people who garden outdoors have lower blood cholesterol concentrations in the summer than in the winter. Spending more time in the sun can help lower blood pressure, and some research suggests that a lack of sun exposure may be associated with higher blood pressure. Vitamin D helps keep blood vessels linings healthy and flexible, and low levels of vitamin D can make arteries stiff and make it harder for blood to flow. People who spend more time in the sun tend to have higher vitamin D levels, while those who spend less time in the sun tend to have lower levels. When we're in the sun causes our skin to release small amounts of what is called nitric oxide, called NO for short. This is released into the bloodstream, which can lower blood pressure by causing the blood vessels to expand. It's interesting to note that blood pressure readings are usually higher in the winter because the blood vessels are more narrow, which then increases the pressure of blood flow, raising our blood pressure. Sunlight helps regulate what is called our circadian rhythm, which is the body's internal clock that sends us a signal when it's time to sleep. When our circadian rhythm is altered, it can make it harder to fall asleep, which can result in not getting enough rest, and that can make us have less energy during the day. To make matters worse, the lack of sunlight also lowers our melatonin, which is a hormone that also helps trigger sleep. It's produced in the pineal gland from a substance called melanin, a chemical produced in the skin by sun exposure. So, if our circadian rhythm is off and our melanin levels are low, we're going to be sleep deprived. This means we're not going to have the energy to be as active as we need to be, and this will slow down our metabolism. Then we won't burn as many calories, and this will make it harder to maintain our weight. So many functions of our bodies are affected by sunlight. Low levels of vitamin D because of deficiency may be linked to cognitive impairment, such as dementia and Alzheimer's. Vitamin D receptors help reduce inflammation in the brain while increasing neuron growth. This can protect against dementia and Alzheimer's disease. An elderly person who spends most of their time indoors might experience accelerated cognitive decline. They may show signs of memory loss, confusion, or difficulty making decisions earlier than expected, which could be linked to insufficient sunlight exposure and low vitamin D levels. A study by Grassroots Health looked at data from 1,192 participants aged 60 years and older living in rural China. The study found that long term sun exposure had a positive effect on their ability to score better on state mental and cognitive tests compared to elderly people who spent most of their time indoors. This study concluded that long term high sun exposure throughout life could reduce the risk of cognitive impairment in later years of life. How much sun we need to make sure we're getting our daily dose depends on three things: the color of our skin. Fair skinned people usually have less melanin than people with dark skin. Melanin acts as a natural sunscreen to protect our skin from UV rays. This means that people with darker skin often need to spend longer periods in the sun to receive the same amount of vitamin D as someone with lighter skin. The time of day you go outside matters. UV rays are at peak level during midday. By choosing to take a stroll in the early afternoon, you won't need to stay outside as long to get enough sunlight and vitamin D. The amount of clothing you wear. When it's cold, you usually wear more clothing, so your skin receives less direct contact with the sunlight. It's important to stay outside longer when you have more clothes on, to make sure your uncovered skin is absorbing enough vitamin D. Spending about 10 to 30 minutes in the sun 3 times a week is plenty of time to get enough sunlight. Sunlight plays a critical role in maintaining health, specifically through the synthesis of vitamin D. The diseases discussed in this video highlight the importance of regular sun exposure. For people who cannot get enough sunlight, it's very important to take a supplement to prevent these health issues. Making sure to get enough sun while avoiding overexposure is the key to maintaining overall health and well-being. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and return to get more important health information. Until next time, be well, be safe, and be prosperous.